Welcome to the Iron Ninja Holodizzle Spectaculazzle, featuring Turkey Sandwich, that one guy with Iron Man opinions you didn't like, Team Super 7 Swim, Scott Wozniak, the leader of the hated by Evan Falarka gang. What do you mean these aren't their real names? You wrote them in the script. This guy was totally the thing in that one Halloween video they did. The guy who convinced me Ang Lee's Hulk is pretty good actually. And Cat Dickle the Pickle. They're all here and locked in my closet. I'm not letting them out.
Absolutely furious. I was minding my own business. She's dark red, picks me up by my waist, upstairs with dirty brown bag. All of a sudden I'm stuck in this room. I don't know where I am. I don't know how to get out. I'm just going to assume it was Ron Weasley. I don't fucking know.
The old holiday special. The idea of bringing people together, giving gifts of various sizes, and locking everyone in your closet. It's just wholesome. And what better thing to use as bait and also use to bring people together than video games? And they sure have had a weird year, haven't they?
I mean, we've had thousands of delays, company outings, more delays, E3 being cancelled, Jeff Keighley being Jeff Keighley and bringing in Al for some f***ing reason, and people losing their goddamn minds over another Smash character. The biggest thing to happen this year was the launch of the Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. Edition. I mean, look at this thing. It's a game and a watch. The PS5 and Xbox Series X's launch will probably be the biggest launch in console history for the next 7 years. And the scalpers are proof of that. Look at these prices. They're disgusting. I hope for the worst. I myself was lucky enough to get myself a pre-order, and I'm not going to talk about it yet.
First, let's go through some history, because I know you haven't heard this story a million times.
かつてソニーと任天堂の間には良き友人関係があった。その頃、ソニーが任天堂に唯一あげたもの。それはサウンドチップだった。ある日、任天堂がソニーに尋ねた。もっと親密になってさ、CD 再生機器とか作ろうよ、と。任天堂はソニーの言う通りにしたのだが、その際に任天堂は新しいゲーム機を生み出してしまった。任天堂は単独で自分自身のキャラクターを作成し、自分のゲーム機器に登場させるということに対して責任感とストレスを感じていたので、フィリップスと共同作業を行うことにしたのだ。しかし、ソニーはそれに気づいてしまう。任天堂がフィリップスと組んでいることに気づいたソニーは、任天堂から離れることにしたのだ。自分で作成したソニーのゲーム機とともに。そして、任天堂プレイステーションはソニープレイステーションへと変化を遂げた。
I wrote this. I don't know how or why I did it, but I did.
So after that romantic drama and the crazy success of the PS2, the PS3's unsuccessful success, and the Xbox's ability to suck so much that the PS4 was able to troll on a company-wide scale. We then finally make it to the PlayStation 5. Finally! We went from a Wi-Fi router to an air conditioner.
I guess we should talk about the first thing you get your hands on. The DualSense.
A controller so far up its own ass in the futuristic design, it forgot what colors were. I know it's a minimalistic change, but the colors added so much personality to the PlayStation. I mean, look at this mock-up. It would look f***ing great. Why didn't they do this? They didn't even add color to the symbol, it's just black. It makes it harder to see. I mean, sure, you could use muscle memory, but it just doesn't look right without color. However, while this thing lacks in terms of color, it doesn't lack in terms of how it actually feels.
This thing feels so good in the hands.
People have compared this to the Xbox 360 controller, but I would say it's a thicker DualShock 4. The buttons, the triggers, they all feel wonderful. Some people have said the D-pad doesn't feel good, and I have to disagree. This is wonderful, so soft and quiet. I never liked the clicky D-pad of the Xbox. The clicks just irritated me. And the analog sticks. Holy shit, they're quiet again! Not as quiet as the DualShock 3, but way better than the DualShock 4. And it has the symbols as part of the grip! Oh! Now we can talk about how this thing feels all the live long day. What does it do?
I'm not sure, but it makes for a shitty boomerang.
The main selling point of this controller are haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, a mic in the controller, motion sensors, and the touchpad again. Now as your average PS4 player,
the touchpad wasn't used then, and it won't be used here.
Now with the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback, this might be different. While the touchpad was going to be used as an additional controller input, instead it just became the new select button. The adaptive triggers look like an addition developers might actually do. It's not something like, oh, how are we going to implement them? It's pretty simple. With shooters, make it feel like an actual trigger. Cars, the pedal. There's so many possibilities with this, and I love it. And the actual feeling when it happens, holy shit. This thing just needs to be experienced. It is definitely what makes the PS5 stand out. Haptic feedback, however, it's cool and it exists. Don't get me wrong, it's way more advanced than the Switch's HD Rumble, but it's something I don't think will be done in ways as noticeable than in games like Astro. That game really knows how to show off the DualSense. More on it later. You can't experience any of this if you don't have the system it's made for. The PS5 itself looks amazing, although I still wish there were more color. Its design looks absolutely beautiful. And my gosh, is it a
big boy! Big boy.
And for being such a big boy, it has no console storage. I wish I was joking. You thought the original storage on the PS4 was bad. The PS5 has little over 600 gigabytes. That's enough room for 6 Call of Duties, and that's being generous for the future. Infamous Second Son was 21 gigabytes on the original PS4. We had no idea how big PS4 titles could be back then. And now AAA titles are roughly 70 to 100 gigabytes, and they only will increase from here, with rare exceptions. Which sucks even more when you find out there isn't an internal SSD storage drive available for use on the PS5 yet. And even then, you can't use an external SSD or hard drive for storing PS5 titles, only PS4. Which is fine for now, but will definitely be a problem in the future for PS5 games. Speaking of which, the launch titles are pretty okay. However, if you look at the titles that are also on the previous generation, it's pretty bad in terms of the amount that are actually launch titles. Cross-gen games are nothing new, but when the new experiences that will be taking the hardware to its limits aren't really taking the full advantage of the system, I think there's an issue. But how are the games?
You know, Zack may have kidnapped us and stuck us in his closet, but at least he provided us with these nice cards to play a game with.
Got any threes?
Go fish.
How are you playing that while we're all in here? This room is like 8 square feet!
Hey everybody, I just have a really cool question. Why aren't we trying to get out?
It's dark in here and it smells like ham. Oh wait, that's me.
Zach, come on, let us out of here.
I think he's just forgotten we're in here.
That released? Haven't played it, I just bought it to make the shelf look nicer. It's pretty cool. The DualSense feels crazy when you're shooting and aiming your sights. I haven't played a lot, but it's good. I'm not a COD player, so I can't say much. Now onto the actual exclusives, the reason you'd buy a PS5. Let's start with... Miles is the first of many cross-gen PS5 games, and as a PS5 launch title, it's absolutely amazing. If the PS4 game were supposed to make you feel like SpiderMan, this game makes you feel like a new SpiderMan. Miles' his own version of SpiderMan. The story is engaging and amazingly thought out. The combat is improved and more flashy, and the web slinging feels even better than the original. You really feel like you have
the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
And the graphics, man. Even though it is also on PS4, the graphics are so amazing. Even the ray tracing, although clearly in its infancy, looks amazing and shows the promising future of the PS5. The way Spidey reflects off of city windows and puddles is absolutely amazing. New York is accurate as ever, except for those buildings that have disappeared and the ones that have appeared out of nowhere. Is no one going to explain that? They even bundled in the remaster of the original Spider-Man. Okay, look, I'm not going to talk about this forever, but please listen to this for a brief moment. Yes, John Bugsnax is gone. No, Insomniac isn't trying to discredit him or say he's lying. A simple Google search will tell you immediately everything you need to know. Yuri did the motion capture for the scenes, John did reference capture, doing a few scenes. None of them were used, John probably thought that they were used and weren't just for reference and said he did some scenes for the game. Miscommunication ensued, stop starting conspiracy so Insomniac will double down. No one is believing that all you're looking for is the truth. He's not coming back, get over it and move on. I'm also talking to you, John. Either tell the full story or take it to court. Stop harassing a developer because they've bent over backwards for you more times than I can count. Outside of everyone else's growing pains, the remaster is amazing. The new lighting looks great, sometimes. The new textures are absolutely breathtaking when compared to the PS4 version. And the addition of ray tracing and a 60 FPS mode just seals the deal for me. It might be the exact same game as the PS4 version, but god damn is it worth the extra $20 to see the real-time leap into next-gen graphics. Speaking of which, Demon's Souls is one of 4 true PS5 exclusive launch titles, one of which will be exclusive for a limited time, the other is a free tech demo, and the last one I had to remind myself existed while I was writing the sentence. And oh my gosh, is this game a PS5 title. The game looks absolutely outstanding. Even in performance mode, it is crazy nice. However, I'm a different man. I don't care about frames. I want those visuals. This game is fantastic. But if you enjoy your sanity, do not play it. This game is hard as fuck.
Now, I'm familiar with the Souls games. I played a good amount of Dark Souls 3 back in the day, but this is the first ever Souls game. And in terms of my skill there, I suck.
I haven't gotten far yet. I probably won't ever because I found that I get too frustrated with these types of games, but this is a hell of a launch title. And what better to expect from Bluepoint Games, a team with such a great track record, with games like another remake, a HD collection, another HD collection, even more HD collections, and they helped with Flower.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I realize that Bluepoint really doesn't have much of a track record or is really that creative. Which isn't the case for...
No, not this one. I didn't even buy it. Who the fuck do you think I am? Wait, they added Kratos?! I have no integrity. There we go. Bugsnax is weird as hell, and I f***ing love it. However, there is a lot about this game that makes me just think differently about it. This was developed by Young Horses, the Octodad people, and boy does it show in its setting. Everything from the people and the story, to the plants being condiments, to all the different Bugsnax, its setup and setting just screams crazy. However, the gameplay itself is kinda disappointing to me, especially when you compare it to Octodad. Octodad stood out not only because of its odd setup, but its odd gameplay. Everything about it was hilarious and memorable. The only thing about Bugsnax that is hilarious and memorable is the story and the setting itself. The gameplay is really nothing to write home about. It's just collecting Bugsnax for people and nothing else, with mechanics that have already been done in some other indie games. Not to say this wasn't done well, I just guess my expectations wanted something more insane in terms of gameplay. But the gameplay does allow for something awesome. It shows off the DualSense insanely well. The way that triggers click when you scan Bugsnax, like you're taking a photo, and the little vibrations and adaptive triggers for various mechanics in the game. It's just so cool and makes me excited for what other developers can do with this controller. Another game that does this amazingly well is... Holy shit, I love this game. It's not super intricate, it's not super compelling, it's just fun. The amount of PlayStation references is absolutely astounding. Even the collectibles had me screaming in nostalgia. Oh my gosh, is that the PS1 T-Rex demo as a boss? The level of detail in every world is amazing. The way the wood replicates technical panels, disk drives, and USB ports, the way the treasure room has all the plugs and triggers of each system, and even the worlds themselves that represent the different parts of the system, the SSD, the fan, the GPU, and the memory. But what makes this game really stand out is how the controller works here. This truly shows off how the DualSense can be taken advantage of. The way the triggers emulate springs and rockets and grabbing on the rocks is absolutely fantastic. The way the haptics allow for the rain and footsteps to actually be felt, it's just nothing short of amazing. This is a tech demo, yet it's just as great of an experience as the other PS5 games. That says something about its quality here. Even the music f***ing bops. Alright, what's next? This game. Okay, look, you know how everyone was super hard on Mario 3D World when everyone was expecting a Mario Odyssey and then they didn't get that? That's SackBoy, but for Little Big Planet. I mean, quite literally, SackBoy is just Super Mario 3D World, but for SackBoy. I wouldn't be as annoyed with this game if it hadn't been 6 years since the last Little Big Planet game, and 3 years since the last costume update. Not only that, almost all the DLC levels and costumes have all been delisted. Little Big Planet has become a shell of its former self. I don't think Sackboy is a terrible game. It's pretty imaginative. Its soundtrack is alright sometimes. I have more thoughts, but that's for another video. This game just shouldn't exist in my opinion. You need to make sure the roots are getting enough water so that the stem doesn't wilt with the flower. All this game is trying to do is water the petals and not the roots. Yeah, it's a good analogy, I need to write that down. This game isn't bad, but I'm just too butthurt to appreciate it.
Alright, what's next? What? Really? That's it?
I mean, outside of a few releases, which don't really matter, because who the hell buys a PS5 and says, I want to play this first, Dad? There isn't anything else to give this launch some variety. I guess I'm just so used to having so much to play on my PS4. A generation filled to the brim with games and genres of various varieties.
If only I could play my PS4 games on my PS5.
That's right, nerds and ne'er-do-wells. Every PS4 title you've owned a physical copy of can be played on the PS5. Even the ones you hate. Just insert the disc, wait for it to copy the application. While you wait, sit down and remember how easy it was to play games 2 generations ago, and then just start playing. Alright, I got it downloaded. Let's get going.
Onward and upward.
Oh shit, it's the same game. Well, Zach, what were you expecting?
You don't understand. It's the same game.
Same performance, just about the same load times, same resolution. There isn't any reason not to play this on your PS4. I mean, sure, some of these games run better. Ghost of Tsushima runs at a 60 FPS 4K resolution, but all in all, not many of them are improved in any way. This especially feels odd when you consider that you're using this as a PlayStation Plus marketing strategy. If you have PlayStation Plus, then you have the ability to download 20 PS4 games onto your PS5 for free. And like 5 of them are actually improved. Arkham Knight is a 5-year-old game, but still runs at 30 FPS.
But Zach, maybe they moved on from Knight. They are working on Suicide Squad.
Is that like Kermit?
I go Kermit the Frog here.
There is no reason they couldn't have unlocked the frame rate. I do not need 4K visuals, remastered textures, or just a better resolution. The least you can do is make sure that each game you're using for the Plus collection runs at 60 FPS, especially when some of them are no different from playing on PS4. Like how? The PS5 is a beast. It's a juggernaut in power. If Avengers, a game that can barely run at 30 FPS on PS4, can run at 60 FPS on a PS5, then the PS5 should be able to run Knight, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us Part 2, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, and Crash Insane at 60 FPS, no problem. There is no reason why these games would run at the same performance as the originals. Some of these games are 6 years old, and 6-year-old games being free isn't the best selling point. You gotta give me some spice to flavor it up, you know?
That's why I use firewood with 11 herbs and spices, god damn it!
Especially when I already own a majority of this library in physical form. Again, a lot of these are best-selling titles. You've given me no reason why I shouldn't boot up my PS4 for most of these. Uncharted 4 has no resolution boost or frame rate update. The only reason I'd want to play some of these is because I didn't own a PS4 Pro. Hell, even Grand Theft Auto 5, the game that was first shown off for the PS5, has nothing. Sure, there might be a PS5 version later, but still no improvements to resolution, no 4K checkerboard mode, nothing. It's even worse when you realize the PS4 support is all you have. No PS3, PS2, or even PlayStation 1. Was this for cost cutting? Was the PS3 cell processor just too much to configure? I wonder what the answer could be. Huh. There's no reason they couldn't have backwards compatibility with all generations of PlayStation. People have made PS3 games run at their best performance on shitty laptops. There is no reason this beast can't run Superhero Squad: The Quest for the Infinity Gauntlet. Especially when Astrobot in the very first PS5 event was about looking back at the PlayStation history. Why wouldn't this thing be able to play PS1 Monopoly? Maybe even be able to download PS1 Tetris. Console manufacturers are constantly spouting about making these things all in one media centers. But whenever I have to carry around my PS1 just to play Bust a Move 2, it's not all in one. Now, am I saying that we need to have complete backwards compatibility for all generations of PS5? We don't need backwards compatibility, but my god is it stupid to not include it. Some of these games are still considered masterpieces to this day. Hulk Ultimate Destruction, SpiderMan, Lego Star Wars 1 and 2, Resident Evil. All of these games we keep coming back to because they're just so good. And now most of these consoles have stopped being manufactured, and most of them are even harder to maintain. What's stopping us from just going back to ROMs and emulators? For me, it's just that I'm a purist. I like playing these games on the official way to play them, whether it be through official backwards compatible hardware or just the original hardware itself. It doesn't mean I don't ever use hacks. I hacked my PS Classic the second I could, but more often than not, I enjoy playing these games on the original hardware, not on PC, and many other consumers do too. Not everyone has the knowledge to understand ROMs and hacks, so most people wait for the companies themselves to release remasters of the classic games. So why not make them readily available through backwards compatibility? Is it because quickly selling a port makes more money? Yeah, that's probably it. So that's the PS5. The console's great, everything from the controller, to the menu UI, to the games themselves. It all just screams quality. I've also had 6 hardware crashes where it needed to repair itself. You don't need the system right now. Seriously, for all the praising I've done and the in-depth detail I said on why this thing is crazy good, there isn't any reason you need to upgrade right now. A lot of the games that will be releasing on the console will also be releasing on PS4. The controller is nice, but it's not essential for gaming. The load times are nice, but load times aren't a game changer. It's definitely not necessary now, but I am very excited for what is to come. The possibilities of this console are insane, and I am here for every step of the way. I mean, it's not like they're already working on a PS5 Pro. That would be stupid.
What? そしてアイアン忍者が$500を無駄にしたことに気づく。だが結局のところ重要なのはシステム、ブランド名ではない。中身が何かということの方が重要なのだ。ということでメリークリスマス。良い夜を過ごすように。